Today, I want to talk about how you can carry yourself better. So, what do I mean by that, by carrying yourself better? What I mean is if someone looks at you or if someone meets you for the first time, how do they perceive you? Do they perceive you as like a fucking bum, like a homeless bum? Or do they think you're like a really chill, like cool dude, right? And the way this happens is whether we like it or not as humans, whenever you meet someone new for the first time, you are going to put them in a hierarchy. Meaning, in the first 1 to 3 seconds, let's say this is the hierarchy and this is the guy, they're either going to perceive you as better than them, neutral, meaning like you guys are like the same value, or lower. Like this guy's like I would never hang out with this type of person. Whether we like it or not, we always do this. So let's say you're like walking down the street and you see a good example of this is, let's say you're at like a bar, right? And fucking, I don't know, Kanye West approaches you and says, "What up?" In your mind, you're like, "Holy fuck, I just got approached by Kanye West," right? But now let's take a different scenario that you're at a bar and a homeless dude approaches you and says, "Hey, what up?" Well, what's like the first thought you're gonna have? Like, hey, like get the fuck away from me. And I'm not saying that in a mean way. It's just a natural like way of that we think. We always have hierarchies about somebody. Another way that I like to describe this is when you're in elementary school, you have a cubby. You have a cubby to put your own belongings in, and everyone has their own cubby. In life, when someone meets you, they're gonna put you in a certain cubby. Oh, this is the homeless guy. Oh, this is the rich dude. This is the chill dude. This is the fucking really cool carefree guy. Everyone's gonna have their own cubby. And so the question comes down to is like, how do I like get perceived as like that cool, chill, relaxed, like amazing guy? Because when you get this down, and you just learn how to carry yourself better, people are just automatically going to respect you. You're going to make more friends. You're going to be more outgoing. This is what truly helped me become who I am now. Again, this is all through my experience because back in the day, again, my sub communications were not there. I couldn't make eye contact with someone. I didn't speak as well. My body language was bad. I was always stuck in my head. But when you just truly just work on these, I'm going to talk about 3 of them right now because it would just be too long of a video if I talk about every single sub communication. And I want to talk about the big 3 right now. And if you work on these every single day, you're going to notice that you're just going to feel more confident. People are going to look at you differently, by the way. This happens. I remember when I consciously tried to like change this my first time, and people automatically were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, this is not you." And that's a good thing, by the way, because you're growing. And let me just tell you like where I learned this because I didn't just like figure this out on my own. So there's a guy named Jason Capital that he was a personal development coach, and he made a program called Higher Status, and it basically meant like how to just make sure all your sub communications are perceived as good, meaning like you're just like more confident. You're just viewed basically just mastering your own sub communications. He made a whole 25-day transformation about that. And I was fortunate enough to go through that. And when I did, and I went through it many, many times, and I still work on them every day, it really, really helped me influence and just really helped me become the guy I am now. So I'm just gonna talk about the big 3 that really transformed my life, and that's gonna be body language, eye contact, and vocal tonality. So the first one is going to be body language. And the term that he described this, which is perfect, it's called OGSP, meaning, oh, are you open or are you closed? So for body language, are you always just closed off or are you open, like free, basically? Are your joints further apart? When you are seen as like closed off a lot, people are gonna view you as just like less confident. So like, again, let's go back to my first thing. When I said people perceive you in the first 1 to 3 seconds, if you approach someone and you're closed off, automatically they're probably gonna be thinking like, is this guy like not a confident in himself? Is not confident about how he thinks of himself? And that's how I used to be. I was really closed off. I would always like walk around like this, basically. So again, I was extremely, extremely, extremely insecure about myself back in the day. And then, so O, that's O right now. So are you open or are you closed? And you want to be open. We have G. Are you grounded or are you floaty? Are you present in the moment? Are you, whenever you're sitting, like, or standing or just doing anything, are you just like floaty, like you just making like unnecessary jittery movements, like you're fidgety, or are you grounded, like you're just like you're imagine when you're sitting down, right? When I'm talking about grounded, imagine that you like just won that fucking NBA championship. How would like Michael Jordan be sitting, or let's say how would you be sitting? You would be extremely relaxed. And that's exactly what grounded is. You just want to be more relaxed with your movements instead of being floating. So that's G. And then we have S, slowed and controlled. So are you the type of person that's like really really fast in his movement? And let's say someone like calls your name, you just automatically look like left, or are you just like a slowed person? Like when you move, when you make certain movements, are you just going for it extremely quick, or are you taking your time? The people that are really slowed and controlled, they're going to appear as more confident. Again, this is all a perception. And I don't know if this makes you upset, but that's just how the world works. People are going to perceive you in a certain way. So whenever you just carry yourself better, which again comes again through your sub-communications, it just makes it easier for you to make more friends or whatever your goal is. So slowed and controlled. Your goal is to just be more slowed and controlled with your movements. And then priding, not hiding. Basically, are you proud of what you got? So when you're sitting, are your legs like further apart, which is priding, which is what you want to be, or are you closed? So again, people will view you as more confident when your legs are just a little further apart when you're sitting. So that's body language. It's called OGSP. I could make it a lot longer, but I don't want this video to be too short. But with those principles down, it will make a huge difference about how people will view you, especially when you're open and you're slowed and controlled and not fidgety. So that's body language. Now let's talk about eye contact. This was the hardest part for me to get good at, because again, I couldn't really look at people in the eyes when I was growing up. I was always scared. But through practice, have you heard the term called like the eyes never lie? It is true. So when someone looks at you and you look at them in the eyes, it comes down to your attention and then the tension. So what is the biggest value in today's world right now? It's attention. Everyone's trying to capture your attention. So wouldn't that make sense that if someone's attention is harder to get, it would make them seem as they're more valuable? That is what he explained in that. And it's so true. If you're freely just giving your attention everywhere, like, oh, that person called my name, that person called my name, you're just always looking everywhere and your attention is so easily available, that kind of makes you appear, again, lower value. And again, that's how I used to be. But if you're just, your attention, you look where you want to look. You're not look where the environment is letting you to look. Let's say you hear really big noise. Are you like the type of person that just does this, like what's going on? Or do you look at where you want to look? You have to be conscious about this at first, because I was always led by my environment. I didn't know, like whenever I heard something, I hear my name, I'm always just looking, right? So this was one of the harder things for me to work on. And don't get me wrong, I am still working on this today. But when your attention is just more in your control, like you look where you want to look, you just appear like you're carrying yourself better. So that's the first thing, it's attention. And the second thing is tension. Whenever you look at something, let's say like someone makes eye contact with you, do you just do this? Like, do you just look away? Or do you just look for like 2 to 3 seconds and then you slowly look away? If you learn to look at something, you know that tension like in their stomach area or the chest where like, holy shit, this person's looking at me. If you learn to just kind of like bask in that tension and just like don't mind it, that is amazing eye contact. And people can easily tell by this. And again, when you're talking with somebody and you're just easily just looking them in the eyes and you're just listening to them, very, very, very powerful. So with tension is you just want to just, whenever you feel tension looking at someone, just relax and feel it. Once you just get better at that, it just honestly over time, it won't even matter anymore. You won't even feel the tension anymore. It's just sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. It doesn't matter to you. And once you just master getting better at eye contact, that's like one of the number one signs that you carry yourself better. And then vocal tonality. Whenever you're talking, are you like, I'm going to talk about this first. So when you're talking, do you have like a high pitched tone? Like, hi, how are you? Or is it like a neutral, like, hey, how's it going? Or is it like a breaking, like a lower tone, like, who are you, right? If you just stay in the middle, which is neutral, people will think you carry yourself better. When you're seeking, when your voice goes up, it's like basically subconsciously saying that, hi, like you're up here and I'm over here. And again, I don't know if this is all through his program. And I tested all of this, and it's so true when you do this. And again, try it out for yourself. And sometimes like when I'm telling you this, think of like where you're at each of these subcommunications. Because when I was talking in high school, I had a higher pitched voice. I was always like, hey, like how are you doing today? Or hi, how are you? Especially if you're talking to a girl, this will kind of show. Because I've seen these in like videos all the time where the people are like have these seeking rapport. They're like, hey, how you doing today? You want to avoid that as much as possible. Stay neutral. So just have like a neutral voice. And basically the big thing I want to talk about, just your vocal tonality, is whenever you're talking to somebody, don't let someone else's voice or someone else's volume affect your voice. So if you want to talk louder, you fucking talk louder. If you want to talk quieter, you talk quieter. Don't just like consciously match the other people. And again, this is all situational, but the person that's speaking in the way he wants to speak, whether it's faster or it's slower or it's high or it's low, speak the way you want to speak. And overall, when you just get these 3 down, so recapping, body language, you're more open, you're not fidgety, you're slowed, you're controlled, you move slower, you're just like, you're more present, you're grounded, and your eye contact. You can just look people in the eyes, it doesn't bother you. Your attention isn't easy as fucking valuable to get. And you're just like, whenever something like, when you're nervous or you feel tension, do you bask in it? Are you just so relaxed in that tension? And then vocal tonality. Are you like a high-pitched voice when you meet somebody, or are you neutral? Do you just like talk the way you want to talk? Do you talk slower at times? Do you talk fast at times? Do you talk in the way you want to talk? Do you talk in the pace you want to talk? Or do you let other people's fucking volume affect yours? When you do these 3 things and you just consciously just work on these, I talked about, I made a video about being shy, and the term I talked about in there is called Kaizen. And if you're just getting 1% better at each of these, people are just going to naturally perceive you as like a really cool guy, as someone they want to hang out with. Remember, there's a cubby for each and every person we meet, consciously, whether you like it or not. Remember the Kanye West example and the homeless guy. If you're just perceived as a fucking amazing, cool dude, it's so easy to get what you want. It's so easy to make new friends. It's so easy to ask for a favor and they do it for you, or to whatever it is you want. It's all about the way you carry yourself. It's not about how much money you have. It's not about the way you look. It's truly just about just your internal being, your subcommunications. If you get those down, if you get those big 3 down, it truly will transform your life, and it truly transformed mine. I will stand on my grave about that. If you want more videos about these, leave a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.